So, as university goes, was it the life-changing experience that we thought it would be for most people? But you,
well, I went to Hull, sunny Hull,
yeah.
And
Sunny Hull.
no, it was the coldest place on the earth, and it was smashing. But I must admit, when I got there, I wasn't really myself. I didn't feel like myself. I'd come from a mad time in the 90s, the hacienda years, I like to call it, which was quite foggy, so I can't remember any. And then I went to Hull. I got into Manchester, but I went to Hull for my health, really. So I thought I wanted to be... I couldn't carry that lifestyle on anymore. God knows how I got my A-levels, still no idea. And it was... so it was very quiet, and it was a funny old place, because I was sort of very northern and very working class, which is great, I think.
Well, you'd imagine Hull to be the same, Hull.
Yes, Hull is, but it's funny, the university is full of the poshest people I've ever met in my life.
Is it?
Yeah, unbelievably so. And they all think everything's terribly quaint and wonderful. It's all great. And so I didn't really know what to say. I didn't get into me sort of my stride until the second year, and then it was brilliant because I was asked to like big Oxford balls, and you sat next to Michael Heseltine, going, "Yes, I'm," and they're all going, "Oh, it's a comedy northern," and she's wonderful. You know, so it was great for me. But you know, it was fantastic meeting a different class of person. It opened my mind to everything. I remember meeting this guy from Belgium, and he was part of the royal family. Belgium,
really?
And he ended up in Hull.
In Hull, yeah. And he had this computer, and it was like one you could put on your lap in '92, and we were all going, "Oh, that'll never catch on." A laptop? No one's ever going to have any of them. Because he was so rich, he had like the first laptop, and it was just fantastic. It was a fantastic time. So for me, it was not about the education at all. It was about expanding my mind and meeting other classes, other people. I can't even remember half of my degree, to be honest.
I don't think you're alone with that.
English.
When that first week, when you got there and you said they're all posh, did you stop talking?
Yeah, I did, which is ridiculous. Or I had to have loads of drink, which is nothing's changed. But you know, I had to sort of give myself confidence because I was quite conscious of the way I walked.
I think everyone's like that. You know, when that first week, I didn't go to university. I went to drama school because I thought university was just for the straights.
We've got a picture of you, Jen.
Where am I?
In those days.
That's why I'm really young, I'm really vulnerable, I'm fresh out of drama school, and I've got a little bit of an eating disorder. That's that one, which is basically what I learnt to do. I learnt to drink a lot of cider. First year, drank loads of cider. So Manchester Polytechnic, School of Theatre, went in 1978, I'm giving my age away, and nearly managed 3 years, but not quite, because I went too mad. First year drinking cider, eating sausage rolls, got very fat, had a fantastic time. Then just went a bit mental, couldn't really cope with it. I think universities are great. I think that if you have the opportunity to go, but as long as you get... There are too many universities now that aren't very good and are charging too much.
I agree.
My daughter, the thing I remember about her Freshers' Week, she went to Oxford and for some reason they celebrated with a foam party. She phoned me up and said, "I hate this place, I hate it, I hate it, I'm allergic to it, I hate it so much, I'm allergic to it." Foam party, allergy, absolute contact urticaria all over for a month. Yeah.
I remember going to college. I studied architecture, and I was the first person at my school that ever studied architecture. And in those days, back in the 60s, nobody, really, women, just did not study. Working class women just never studied anything
Janet,
like...
first person to look like this, I think, in an architecture degree.
That's me in my first year at college, wearing a kind of fur coat I got down a jumble sale, and the glasses, Well, the best thing about... I studied really hard, then I did an entrance exam, and I went to the Architectural Association in London, which was like university status, one of the top schools in the world. It was really prestigious, and I was so thrilled that I went there. I sat the entrance exam, and I got in, and then day one, I was absolutely... I know it's hard for everybody to believe, but I was absolutely quaking. I had no confidence whatsoever. And I went into this great big room, and I looked around, and there were 95 boys and 5 girls. It was fantastic, but all the blokes were posh. They'd all been to, you know, 9 out of 10 had been privately educated, had been to public school. So I had the working class accent, and I hadn't been to swanky school, but although I had been to grammar school. But those friends that I met on that first day and that Freshers' Week, I'm still friends with. So it's fantastic. We went on holiday together this year. So I think, although we saw... Yeah, we go on holiday together. We all still... The other thing is we all talk at once. We all put up with each other.
And when you're all together, do you all draw pictures of houses?
Yeah, we are. There are loads. They are. Two of them are still architects.
Yeah, I was trying to knock walls through. That wall will look better now.
Well, I was quite like you, actually, Sal, because I grew up in North Wales and I went to a comp, and I used to get about a bit from the age of 15, so I was going out with a nightclub owner, you know, like you do when you're 15. And so when I went to Cambridge when I was only 17. Gosh. And when I went for the interview, it was the first time I'd ever met someone who said Bath. Oh. Never actually met anyone who said...
Oh, grass.
Grass.
Instead of grass and bath,
yeah, grass and bath, yeah. God, it's a bit posh. So, anyway, I got in when I was 17. I read engineering, which is pretty similar to you in the architecture, because it was like 300 blokes and 10 girls, something of that kind of order.
Fantastic.
Which was interesting. But it did change my life in a way, because I'd never met posh people before. They were all pretty much as you would expect. 1978, I went up, and they were all, you know, mainly, the vast majority had gone to a public school or a boarding school. So they were all 19, generally. And I thought they were so immature, because they'd never been out clubbing.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, the boys that I was
at
college with, I couldn't believe it. They couldn't cook, they seemed to know nothing.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, I've been going down clubs and, you know, hanging out with musicians and stuff since I was 15 as well.
Yeah.
So it was funny to go to college and be with boys of my age who just seemed like 10 years younger.
There was this guy I was in halls, shared halls, and he was very, very terribly posh, and his mum and dad used to make him dress for dinner. And I remember... with a bow tie and
just
everything.
like that in our house.
Oh, yeah. And I went into the kitchen, and he said, would you like a cup of tea? And I said, oh, it'd be lovely, love, yeah. And he put the tea bags in the kettle.
Oh. At my drama school, because when you go to drama school, everybody's very different, because otherwise it's stupid. You have to have people from all different walks of life, so I didn't have that kind of experience. Yeah. But I don't know whether... I mean, I recognise me from the photo, but, Carol, would we recognise you from when your university days?
I was 20 then. I just had a perm the week before.
You had it. Can't tell.
1981, and you know when the perm grows out, it goes all flat like that.
Oh,
You've got this frizz
Really
that's gone
long,
ginger. I had to have short hair after that. But life-changing. Mine was life-changing because I met one of my best friends, who is still a good friend of mine, who I met there, a girlfriend called Kumu. And I met my husband, father of my 2 children, at her wedding, when I was bridesmaid at her wedding. So that was fantastic. But the one thing that hasn't changed since my days at university, in those days everyone wore jeans and cagoules, and I refused to wear jeans for 3 years. So I used to have these very, very tight red velveteen trousers and thigh-high leather boots. And a shirt open to down there, so nothing's changed since those days. But it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And obviously we wish everybody who's going off to uni in the next couple of weeks all the very best, particularly my daughter, who is going to behave. So she said. We want to know what